Hi guys, welcome back again to our channel. Today we'll be discovering a new anime that will let you guess its name in the comments. Let's get started. The anime starts by showing the king Inglis on his deathbed, surrounded by his friends. Suddenly the divine Alcia appears to him and congrats him for the life he divided and the effort he did to serve the people. She also appreciates the fact that he slows so many monsters and demons due to the forthright nature of his heart, and for this reason he's known as the Hero King. Then she reveals that she came today to repay him for his extraordinary efforts by granting his last wish. The old man wishes to be reborn because he dedicated his entire life to serve the kingdom and the people, but now he wants to spend his new life in honoring his martial skills. Alicia agrees and wishes him a good luck with his new life. Somewhere else, we see the couple Luke and Serena happily playing with their newborn baby. We understand that Inglis reincarnated as a girl from the royal family, but in spite of this, he's so optimistic and says he can feel the aether within him. In this world, ether is the foundation of all creations. All things are composed of ether, and control over it means exerting your will over the world itself. Outside, a beast is attacking the kingdom, so Serena rushes to evacuate the house and take the baby with her. On her way, she meets her sister Irina, who takes her to a safe place where they meet also Irina's children, Raphael and his little sister, Rafinha. Through the window, Inglis observes the magical monster. Raphael suddenly declares that even after receiving his rune, he can do nothing except watching through the window. Rules in this world are needed to wield AniCapped, the weapons and the equipment that are needed to start combat against magical monsters, and all the knights have them as marks. His mother Irina explains to him that his true rune is a special one, given only to those who will represent the hope of all people. This is why he must survive, no matter what. Suddenly, the magical beast attacks them, and Irina falls down injured. Serena gives the keys to Raphael and asks him to run for their lives while she tries to buy some time. However, the lady does not have any power or talent, and all her attacks are useless in front of that beast's power. Raphael takes the babies and the sofa, then he goes back to save his own, saying if he can protect the people he loves, how he can protect the kingdom as a knight. He shows off his sword and attacks the dragon, but his skills needs more training and he's no match for the beast. After being knocked down, it is the time for the baby Inglis to show her power, since all the people are badly injured and not focused on her. She takes advantage of this situation to approach the dragon and erase it from the world using the Aether overwhelming strike. Life starts getting so exciting, and Inglis seems to be happy to see how her appearance changes by the years. We also see Raphael after 5 years, a dignified, serious and dedicated person. The whole kingdom expects great things from him as the next king. After this, we see Mr. Rampash. Trader came for a visit with his company. Later, his son Ral starts showing his talent using his sword. He manages defeating 10 knights by himself. This is why Inglis thinks he's using some kind of magic. And after observing his moves, she confirms that he's restricting the movement of anyone who makes eye contact with him. And since people of this time have lost all their knowledge of magic, they could not notice it. Raphael is the one who's going to fight Ral next, so Inglis gives him an advice to avoid looking at his opponent. The boy makes a good start, but he raises his head at the end and gets defeated. It was such an unfair game, so Inglis convinces her father to let her fight against Ral, and the smart thing she does is closing her eyes to avoid the eye contact. Surprisingly, she wins at the end, making her father and the knight proud of her. This time we see the royal kingdom attending a ritual, whereby one is granted the rune needed to become a knight, like the one Raphael has on his hand. These runes are divided into 4 ranks. The more powerful your rune is, the more powerful your artifact are going to be. Rafinha goes first and gets a great rune, and now it is Inglis' turn to put her hand in that device. After following the instructions, the time has come to know the result of the test, and unexpectedly the girl's hand is clean. Inglis is now considered runeless, which means she can never be a knight. In fact, the girl is way powerful than they think, and due to her past as a king and a knight at the same time, the advice did not choose any rune for her, and the runeless image benefits her because she does not want to spend her life being forced to serve people. 6 years later, we got to know about the rainbow rain that turns animals, plants, and livestock into monsters that attack humans. The most powerful of them all is the Rainbow King, a monster which can level a nation all on its own. After this, we see Inglis and Rafinha walking together, talking about the monsters they have to face when the rain stops. Later, they see the Highland, the home of those called Highlanders, the producers of the artifact and baptismal and tabernacles that allow ordinary people to protect their livelihoods from beasts and monsters, and in exchange they get corpse and materials in massive quantities. At night, the 2 girls get informed that a Highlander came over with the inspector from the capital. Rafinha explains that an inspector comes by once every 2 or 3 years, but it is the first time they have been accompanied by a Highlander, and they both will be coming to the party in the castle. After a while, the girls meet Leon, a Holy Knight who serves alongside Raphael, and the Lord Shinor, the Inspector. But the surprise is when they realize that the envoy from the Highland is Ral. It turns out he gave all his money and wealth to gain their citizenship, because a Highlander holds more power than any noble. But before any unwanted things happen between Inglis and Ral, Leon interrupts their talk, saying he needs to take the girls to see his trusty companion. On the way, he tells them that a Highlander considers normal people as lesser race, who can even protect themselves without the artifact they make. After this, we learn about Harold Minos, the Holy Knight's companions, who can transform into artifacts usable by their knights only. Then we see Iris, Leon's companion, sitting alone, so he introduces her to the two ladies, but she slaps him on his face and leaves without saying a word. The girl wonders if they did something wrong that made her upset. Leon changes the topic. Suddenly, the trio hears an explosion, so they rush to see what happened in the palace. As they enter the room, they see a burned body on the floor, and it turns out it belongs to Lord Shinoi. Ral reveals that he slew the inspector for his insolence. A simple servant reveals that Ral created flames out of nowhere and killed Shinoi in front of her eyes. Inglis recalls when Ral used magic during a sword fight. Now he threatens to take one of the knights, or he will fake the truth and tell everyone that the king himself killed the inspector. The girl stops him, saying he's sick and disgusting. She then declares that all the man wants is to avenge her, because she once defeated him in a sword fight, so she asks him to take her instead and leave all the others alone. The man accepts and gives her orders to meet him in his mansion. Later we see Iris stopping Inglis from going to meet Ral, but this one insists, so they get into a fight. Inglis noticed that the power of her opponent is much higher than the Holy Knight, which pleases her. She then decides to show her a part of her power, telling her there is nothing to worry about. Suddenly, while the two girls are talking, Leon shots Iris aggressively, making her fall badly injured. Iris noticed that the man is wearing an artifact, so she wonders if he's planning to stop them from hurting Ral as a way to win the Highlanders' favor. However, he claims to have good intention toward the people, saying he does not want either the Highlanders or the monsters hurting innocent people, since it's his duty as a Holy Knight. Inglis asks him what he's going to do to stop them, and he answers that he will be helped by an anti-Highlander guerrilla organization called the Bloodchain Brigade. Iris explains that in other countries, Highlanders have caused many chaos and destroyed entire towns after the brigade killed one of their members. This man over here is planning to make the Highlanders come to their country after he kills Ral, in order to steal their technology and spread it among the people on the surface. And now he wants to take Iris with him, to make people realize that one day even their companions will disappear. So he will be forcing them to discover how to make artifacts without the Highlanders' help. Inglis says she can't let him do this, and they start fighting. The man promises to make the girl regret standing on his way, and using his high-rank artifact, he summons Lightning Beast. Inglis noted that he tries to make her occupied while he flees with Iris from the other side, so she surrounds herself with waves of compressed ether, attacks all the beasts at once, making them all explode, shocking by this both Iris and Leon. The man tries to activate his artifact, but gets stopped by Inglis, so he just flees away. Suddenly, in the middle of this mess, Ravina breaks out through a window and a huge beast is behind her. Her friend rushes to save her, and she seems so determined to kill the beast, and with only one head, she takes him off. After this, Ravina reveals that she came to support her friend Inglis. She even sneaked into the mansion, and there she met Ral, who suddenly starts screaming in pain. Then he turned into that monster and started attacking her. People turning into beasts is something impossible, but Leon says he's the one behind this. He reveals that he used a drug made of condensed magic powder, which the Bloodchain Brigade have created, and they gave him some of it. After saying all this, the man disappears, leaving them alone to face their fate, saying Ral deserves miserable death. After all what the Highlander did to them, Inglis feels pity for him and decides to kill him with one strike to make it easier for both. King and other knights arrive for help, but Inglis and Iris decide to handle this matter alone. They run towards the beast and kick him out of the city. In fact, Inglis used the other girl just to hide the fact that she has an incredible power in order to avoid living the same as the old days, stuck with the duty of protecting the town. Now, since they are alone, the girl decides to test her powers on the beast and kill him with one head, and she does it successfully. 3 years later, we see the two girls training alone in the backyard of the castle. They both seem stronger and prettier. This day, the 15-year-old girls will set out for the capital. They will enroll in the Knights Academy in the capital city of the king. We see their parents saying goodbye for them in sadness, and they leave behind the house they've been living in their whole lives. A new experience is waiting for them in the capital, and more excitement is waiting for us in the next video. I hope you like this one. See you next time for more.